Okay, Sikha Parshas boy. So, like I said before, there's different ways that we could present the Sikha, get into the Sikha. Speak in a way of the Hemshich, on the same idea that we had in Shmois, that Rebbe is telling us that the Indian of a Nasi is to be Megala, that even in Mitzrayim, that it's really Yemaisa Mashiach. Like the Rambam, that we was in Mitzrayim, he was Megala and Mamshech Din of Yemaisa Mashiach. And a Nasi reaches that level at the level of Shivim when he finishes Avedis Abirurim. That's he's able to connect the Am to Yemaisa Mashiach. And in Veira, we said that even in the time of the Avos, they already have the Indian of the Nakuda of Matan Torah, the Gili Shem Havaya Matan Torah, because they have the Etzem, and they have the Etzem also in the Giluim of Bismillah. So already has the whole Indian. Later it'll be Nimshach L'Gili. Another Zeh, even in Zman Golus, when we have only the lower level of Shem Havaya, we already have this Indian. We have the Etzem and the Indian Bekoyach of the Gula Mitzvah Shlema of the Shem Havaya Lobinis Gula Mitzvah Shlema, and this prat doesn't say clearly in the Sikha, but l'chayra it's that we also have in some things we already have the Inyan of Yemaisa Mashiach. It says that from Tavshin Yud starts Yemaisa Mashiach. That means the same way we said that by the obvious they already had in some Inyanim like the Bismillah, they already had Matan Torah. So too there are some Inyanim that now even in Zman Golus that we already have the Inyan of Yemaisa Mashiach. That is the Parshas, the Rebbe. The Rebbe is already in the Bechina and is Meir and Mamshech and Yona and Yemaisa Mashiach. As the Rebbe says, the Tavshin Yud begins the Inyan of Tkupa and Yemaisa Mashiach. The Rebbe is in Yonim, the Rebbe is Nitzochin. It says in Chayesar and Ambez that if you Natzech v'kama in Yonim. So there also we have already Yemaisa Mashiach. So B'meila, it's already possible for us, even though we're standing in Zman Golus, to happen. He said with the Rebbe's brachas, with the Rebbe's takeif, the Rebbe's hashpah, to live in this world already in Yemaisa Mashiach, even before the Gilui of Mashiach, to live with the Gilui of Mashiach. So on the same train of thought, the same Indian is boy, and even in Zmanogolos, here it's more the twist of even in Medidus V'Agbolis of Olam Hazer, Medidus V'Agbolis of Seder Shtalshus, Medidus V'Agbolis of Neshama Beguf, it's still possible to tap in to the higher and highest madrigis of Yiriu V'Skalim Minekol Nahirin, even though l'chayra it's a darga which is a bechin of kvad loshen, as we'll see, the Indian that is soiser Elam Hazer, breaks Elam Hazer, can't come begilu in Elam Hazer because it's the Mailam Medidav Agbala. How could the Mailam Medidav Agbala come into Medidav Agbala? The same way we're saying that you're in Golos, you could have Mashiach, you're in Lifnei Matan Torah. You could have Matan Torah. You're in before the Gili Shem Havai. So too, you're in Medidus V'Agbolis. So you could still have the Indian of the Ma'ila Medidus V'Agbolis. Similar, huh? That's what I'm saying. We started from Shmais and Veira. Also the same thing. Yeah, Shmai. What's new over here, though, Shmais was speaking Golos Gula. Here we're speaking, so to speak, a bigger problem, that the etzem meaning of Medidus V'Agbolis. This V'Agbolis of Zman U'Makim, of just a neshama b'guf, which even you could say even before Adam Arishin, we're connecting the etzem bria of Seder Shtalshus with what we're going to say soon, L'mayla Me'Shtalshus, the bigger connection here. Still, we have the keiches to take it all the way and Pashat be living in Elam Hazeh Agashmi in a way of the Ma'ila Medidav Agbala, which is clearly the life of Mashiach. Yeah. With all the darks, all the it says these words delivered to Moshe Mashiach. I don't see that here in the end of the Sikha, but that's the theme. Site for the Geula. Rebbe's more speaking about. Therefore, we have to take a mamshich the Geula b'poyos. That's like not only live with the Geula, but it's in Zman Umakim Gufa. We're ready for the Geula b'poyos mamish, which is the Mayam Did Vagbala. It could come, and it won't be mevatel them Didis Vagbala Sadavel. That's all the way to the end. So the Rebbe sees this. I'll say a few nukudas of the Sikha. The Rebbe finds this and puts this in the sixth parsha. That's the Indian. First of all, that's the Indian of Boyal Parei. Boyal Parei. What's the shaykhus with the boy to the whole parsha? The whole parsha is the Parei is being thrown over. That the tzitzis mitzvah, getting rid of him. Boyal Parei brings out that he's very strong. That's when Moshe has to go to him. Especially that what it says in the Zohar that Boyal Parei. It should have said Leichal Parei. Go, boys, come. So why does it say come to Parei? Should go to Parei? The Zohar says because Moshe Rabbeinu is very scared of him. He was very. The other times that Moshe Rabbeinu met Parei was when he was out by the Nilos. He's weak over there. It's not in him in his full strength. This time he had to go to him in his palace. So Moshe Rabbeinu was scared and very very deep, low levels of klippa. So Hashem said, I understand you're scared. Come with me. I'll go with you, and I'll help you, and you'll be safe. So clearly, it's bringing out that Parei is very strong, which is the opposite of the whole parsha that we're winning him, getting rid of him. What's the Hiro Boil Parei? We're long gone of Parei. We're way out of Mitzrayim. A few questions that Rebbe asks on the Boil Parei. The Rebbe explains that the only way we could explain this is Al Pi Primis Anyonim that Parei Shalamata, everything Shalamata is Mushash and Maila. So the Parei Shalamata is Mushash in a very high level of Maila. The Parei Shalamata, that is very strong klippa, is Mushash from that is a very high level of Nelikus. Which level of Nelikus? This period of Skalamine Kol Nahirin, which is basically the level of Atzvos Muhos, where everything comes from this level of Atzvos Muhos. And Moshe Rabbeinu was charged with this mission to go to Atzvos Muhos. He's scared of the Nivra going to Atzvos Muhos. This is something that is unbelievable. It says, Rebbe connects it to the pasuk where it says that no one could see the face of Hashem. You can't see Hashem and stay alive. It's not something a human being, anything Amdida Bagwala could have. That's for that reason Moshe Rabbeinu is scared. And that's how Gufa is. And that's also why when Parei, Rebbe explains later in the Parsha, Parei says, you're never going to see my face again. And Moshe says, Ken Debar, you're right. That it means he was saying that you should know, Piteva, there's no way that you could come close to me. Parei says, and Moshe Rabbeinu says, you're right. Mitzad the Medidis Bagbolis, this is unbelievable. This is unreal. This is not possible for me to approach you. So this is why Moshe Rabbeinu needed the help of Hashem. What was the help of Hashem? Hashem says the emes is this that there's a steer of the Medidas Vagbalis coming to the Ma'am Medidas Vagbalis is still something in the Medidas Vagbalis of a Nivra. It's the way a Nivra is looking at the Darga of Isperi V'Skalimine Kol Nahirin when it's still like the Tzir of Isperi V'Skalimine. But Mitzad Atzvos Mamish, where he says, Hashem says, what I could do, come with me, Mitzad Atzmos, he can make a second pshat is that he makes every type of gilui go out of their geder. He can make gedarim go out of their gedarim. That even within the geder of Gashmis, the geder of Didis Vagbalas, which the Chayra is opposite of the Lamayla Medil Vagbala, he can take that out of its Medil Vagbala and can make that the Lamayla Medil Vagbala should come into even such a level of Medil Vagbala because Hashem has that kaiches, Atusmus has that kaiches. If we'll have time towards the end, I'll go back to this and explain this a little bit. He has a very big kesher to this year's Basilagani, Tarshachov Gimel, the word of the Ein Sof coming down, even into Atzilus and even into Biyah. This time, it's a very nice thing which connects to this. But this is what the Rebbe is saying here. Mitzad Atzmos, this is possible. The Rebbe says this also explains another section in the Torah where Moshe Rabbeinu says, I'm a Kvad Peh, it explains the Chassidus. that Moshe Rabbeinu was a very high level, and he couldn't come. It was like Oiris the Torah, which is too high than Kilim the Tikkun. He couldn't come. He was higher than the Sheirish of Torah. Rather, it says that in this is Basiligani, right? That he's from Makar. Moshe is from the Chacham, the Makar of Torah. He said coming down to the level of Chachma is a Helen for him. So that's why he was Kvad Peh. And the Eibusher tells him, "Mi sam pela adam ki manoichi havaya," that I give you the that I'm a koyachol. I'm able to make, even though you're better higher than coming to speech. I'm able to bring down the keiches to speech. Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't healed totally then. Then it was still a difficult speech, and Aaron HaKohen was still helping him out. But by Matan Torah, when it was the Gila v'Neicha Shem Alekecha, that brings from Midrash, and Moshe Rabbeinu was totally healed. But healed means that even though he was in essence above speech, Torah, Atzmos, the Aneichi of Atzmos was the ability to make that the high Eirish could come down and that Moshe Rabbeinu's speech to be healed. So similar to that discussion that Moshe Rabbeinu had with Hashem, L'chatchila, when he was being sent, that I'm above Gilui, and Hashem said, I have the Koyach Atzmos, and I can bring above Gilui into Gilui. So the same thing was happening here, because this is perhaps a step further. That perhaps Pari is like more. It wasn't just Moshe to himself to speak the Isis of Torah. It was a thing in the Welt. It was Biyachas to take the Yidden out of Mitzrayim, a Gilui, which is way above what Moshe Rabbeinu felt that as a human being could handle. And Vaiter Hashem says, Boyel Pari, it's the Koyach Atzmos, which enables that a Yid could have all these koyachs. Why was it Adkan? The explanation on the Maila Boyel Pari. Now the Rebbe goes into this. I think it's Sifhei. Why is it Negeya to have this Indian that he should have all these Giluyim in his? Why is it Negeya that he should go to Pari? And why is it Negeya that he should have all these Giluyim in Dibur? Tamadas is Tamadas, and Medida Bagbala is Medida Bagbala. The answer is because we're heading towards Matan Torah, and the whole tachlis of Matan Torah is that ultimately this is what the Eibusher wants. This is what it means. The things should go out of his agbalas. Tachtenim and Elyonim should be out of their agbalas, and it should be in a sgala in this world. Azay the gufa gashmi and elam azay gashmi zover in kedusha be zadir lo yisparich as b'chol ha'olam shteit v'golui b'yisokach v'kol echad, because this is the ultimate. The ultimate. The original plan is that in this world the Medidah V'Agbal should go out of its Medidas V'Agbalas. So therefore it started with Moshe Rabbeinu in his speaking, and then Moshe Rabbeinu going to Pari, and then taking the Eden out of Mitzrayim, and then it started in Matan Torah, this reality unfolding to Klal Yisrael. You're saying the Boyal Pari and Matan Torah? Yeah, Matan Torah, this Koyach was given to us. Yeah. And then it became Boyal Pari. Therefore, from now on, when we do mitzvahs, really a mitzvah is really bleak vul. It's near mitzvah of a Torah. Or on one hand, the mitzvah is Tamadas and the Bagbala, but on the other hand, every mitzvah really connects to the Torah, which is Aruka Meretz Midor Chava Miniyam, and also the mitzvahs is the Kavanas mitzvahs. Rabbi doesn't explain it so detailed over here, but it's explained in other places, in other sikhs, how really every mitzvah taps in Kavanas mitzvahs and so forth. I think the whole arichos, why even in Maisa mitzvahs has in it the of bleak wool. Mitzvahs is really a of bleak wool, and therefore it's gvul and bleak wool. Every Yid now could have like both together, and that's the power of mitzvahs. They have a Adkan the first 2/3 of the sikha. The last third is that this will be the shleimus that we'll see that a Yid really has a shaykhus, but really when Mashiach comes, till Mashiach comes, there's still, the Eilam is epis, nicht 100% mevurar, there's still some separation where the Medida Bagbala is not coming begilu in the Medida Bagbala, in the Gupa Gashma of a Yid. Mashiach comes, it'll be mamish begilu, ayin ba'in yiru, in this world. But this Nekude of the Bala Medida Bagbala in Medida Bagbala is mischazik mider leder as we're getting closer to the Geula. because we're getting closer to that inyan. So it's more and more possible to reach and to be mechaber both inyan. So this is the kesher with this being the Shabbos before Yud Shvat, which is the Hilula, which is the Boyal Paray. It's a stalkus means that the Nasi Adar goes higher, and it's the Abisher is taking him to higher levels and deeper levels, like going into Paray at a deeper level, and that it's enabling, it's giving keiches basar reisha gufa azil, that we all have more and more the keiches where the guf connected to the Nasi Adar. And it's giving more the keiches that the Lamaila Medid Vagbala should come to the Medid Vagbala, especially at the name of Nasi Adar. Yosef and Yitzchak, which his name is connected to Gula. Yosef Hashem Yishinas Adna. Yitzchak is the Tzchak of Asilavai. Especially at the Frierdiker Rebbe had a lot of suffering and not nish cooking up them. He still greeted everyone with a smile. And of Simcha, so that brings out more that he was talking the Mahus of Yitzchak, the Tzchak of Asilavai. So that means this power of Asilavai. This is what the Rebbe is. Yosef and Yitzchak. This is. So, and then will be begilui this inyan. So his aliyah, his stalkus is more strengthening every year. Parshas boy is this message and this kayach. But ilui of a nasi, this happening on Parshas boy, a nasi connected to the gula when this thing will be b'shleimus is giving more strength of having wagbala in the here, because the Rebbe mentioned it was a bal yisurim. At least that's the way it comes in the muga. That's the setup of the sikha. Rebbe says, takes it away with the meaning of the dibur, the helam dibur, which was by the Frierdiker Rebbe. Of course, Chassidim connected this to later to Chazayin Oder, to clear, pretty much a clear kesher. And that's the sikha. It's from the sikha Gimel Shvat. You see it in videos, you hear it on tape. That even though we're saying that the Rebbe possessed within himself, Frierdiker Rebbe possessed with this boyal paroi, this koyach al ma'adim digval imudil vagbala, right? And the koyches of Moshe Rabbeinu of even though he's a kvad peh, he was still able to bring it out. Hashem gave him the koyches to speak. While Begilu, we didn't see that so much in the full lifetime of the Frierdiker Rebbe. That in the later time, it was hard. He had a hardship to speak. The professor complained to him. From all people, this is affecting the speech. That's affecting the chassidus. The speech means that there's less maimonim said, less maimonim to be magia. The hayitochen, the doctor had gefragt that this is affecting the Rebbe in this inyan, and we can't ask Shabbos on the Eibishter, but the Eibishter wants us to understand. And we have a shaila that by Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem gave him the koiches, and he gave him a arin lechicha yelach al peh. And here it's wrong. How come this happened? Muzman Zogin says the Rebbe that so in other words, there was still something missing in the Lamam Didagwala in the Medida Vagbala. That's the Kitzur Adav. And Muzman Zogin that we have that schus and shleimus and shlichus to be the shleimus Adavar, bringing down. We have the keiches of bringing down the Rebbe's speech through our speech. That's mudgesh. The Rebbe here singing about himself also that Yud Shvat is on a Wednesday. In Yom Nitlu by Amaris, which means Nitlu was hanging up, the two lights, not that taken away, it was the sun and the moon. That means there's a hemshich durch die seine Chassidim mit Talmidim, seine Mekusher zu ihm, als Neshamas begufim dal namata, in dem der hat she mitatov. I mean that by the Frierdiker Rebbe it was the Ma'am Dida Vakbala, and he wasn't able to come down. And there at the Rebbe, through the Rebbe, it was nimshach these inyanim lamata. And the Rebbe is the Aaron Achicha, repeating the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe and explaining it and bringing it down much more. So in our Dur of der Hachi, we notice der Hashvi, we have even more keiches of this chibura both in yonim, boifen as the shomis begufim, net men uf bepnimius is period kol nahirin was nitlu itzter. Then was kom gleich Mashiach Tzidkenu. And b'meila, because we continued, the Frierdiker Rebbe didn't continue. We did continue, so b'meila we have all the keiches which lead us directly towards Mashiach. not just what the Rebbe said before. The Friedrich Rebbe has the name of Mashiach, connected to Mashiach, connected to the singing of Mamdid, well, Imdid Wagbala. By us, it's Mamish coming down. That's Taka the Limud, that Mashiach has to come directly from our lives, and it's the Hex that sight the Gula Mitzvah Shlema. The Rebbe is like being Megalit in Torah, and being Megalit to us, and being Megalit to the Eibishter, that we were pilot in Gashmis. We don't need to have Hefsek Dibur. We don't have to have any other type of Hefsekim, because all the high iris are able to come down. When we have to raise ourselves and do this in Boyal Paroi. Machen jeder Yid for a klitz aufnehmen. Spriu kolna heren von die Schneemeier, Sagdeel, und Tesh, etc. Nigel, Primus, etc. Ready for your shot. The Kilbim Yuchad, durch Meister sein, und Limit der von der Bala, Ilula, Atzim, Kaims, and seiner Herois. Also, Bad Gosha, jeder soll sich annehmen, als sein Limit betreffend den Bala, Ilula, soll ich maschtem und Mamale sein, das wird gefällt in der Special, was am Ende zu der Manier, wie ich bekeche dir von den Bala, Ilula. Eigenem Limit bedibber, aber so andere. So he says the Friedrich Rebbe did side with Noshim, side with Taf, each one in their special way. Noshim have to do special with a candle. A candle is where you see clearly the light of mitzvahs, the bula mitzvahs. So I want to add this ha'ara that some people say that this hayra l'chayra. So we were always charged with the mitzvah, the Indian of learning the Rebbe's chassidus and teaching the Rebbe's chassidus. Was it the ufkata? But here that the Rebbe is like charging us this Indian of being the Iron of Chichi and V'yachov Nasi Adar. This is like the Indian of Boyal Parei. It's taking the originality. There's being his messenger, like being, which comes from him. In other words, he's Lamaila Medidav Agbala. We are Medidav Agbala. You walk out of the Rebbe's Fabring and take a nakuda from that Fabring and share it, implement it in your life, share it with someone else. Something. The Rebbe is always up there. We're down there. We're doing our thing. Here in Gimel Shvat, the Rebbe is charging us with like a new thing, like Arn Dechichi Yemliyacha, which is l'chayr the Teichen of Bayal Pare. I'm taking you, us little kindalach, and taking us into his previous galminate to the Rebbe's shoes, Kaviyachla, and saying, here you go. Me and the Rebbe. This is me in this place to be mamale, like such words, to be mamale, the Dibur and these Parshas, the Parshas Hamayonis. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's impossible. The Rebbe's me some peladam. If the Rebbe says this is perhaps an asinas koyach for the singing, and unfortunately, in the time of Helam Hester, it's sort of like this is what we see. Even if the Rebbe says, if Philip said the chas v'shom hepsik b'yiri the brega kotan azaptich, spelt the tater der mamer chmonu litzlan v'badigul and nachon v'chupim v'poyol. The Rebbe was saying in Shmais, even though it looks like you're in Golus, even though you think you're in Medida Vagbala and so forth, is dosa yirida tzer chaliyah norbotei tzukum and tzahechere dagen Medida from Bayal Pare. Sai in their neshama, in their neshama, the past day, you hear B'nai Bayis. There was referring to a terrible accident that happened. Shoshana. This is good. Happened just right then. More the Gili and Shama, Shoshana, the Kabbalah from the Eibishter. It's just in order to bring out more chayis and taking out Shkit and the Gula, and the Rebbe concludes that Shem Yimlach Le'olam Vad. I want to mention what the Rebbe says in the Ha'ara 67, which is very interesting. In Tavshin Nun Aleph, the Rebbe also sich gestellt on Boyal Parei, and I think it's in another Ha'ara that the Rebbe quotes it. And the Rebbe, there the Shaila of the Sikha is, what does Boyal Parei have to do with the Gula? Why are the last three Makis in Parshas Boy? It should have been in last week. Now it's already in Parsha the Gula. The Rebbe explains that it was then the Go For. There was explained that the way the Gula begins with getting rid. When does the Gula begin? When you solve the problem, getting rid of the problem brings the Gula. That's the beginning of the Gula. What Boyal Parei means, go in and get rid of him. Enough is enough. The final attack. When does the victory begin? By the beginning of the last, going into the king's palace and getting rid, capturing the flag. The last time that you get it, that's when. So that's why Ve'era was when there's still a problem and we're getting rid of sending the makis, but we never attacked the etzem ra, the etzem problem. When does the Gula begin? By Boyal Parei, those last three makis was was going inside. And b'meila we went out. The Rebbe like says in Avodah Sodom, it's very like the Kesicha, that the same thing is in a person's avodah. It's not enough that he takes care of things that are easy for him. Ispashto sarah with the Yetzer Hara. He has to. Where does real avodah begin? Where does geula pratis begin? When he attacks the thing which is hard for him, the etzem ra, the etzem yeshus, the thing that he's always being nichshal, the thing when he's able to overcome that. That means that he's already beginning the gula. That's where retroactively, that's when the gula begins. That's already in Parshas Gula. It says that's why the gula. A lot of psukim speak about Hashem making wars with Batra, Hashem coming with dirty clothes because he killed the Arab. He was killing different nations. He was killing all the Seinei Yisrael. That's gula. We should start with peace and tranquility. I says no. The beginning of gula begins with getting rid of the problem. That was referring to the Gulf War. There's Divrei Nevuah and that sikha. Whole story about it. The Rebbe said we already caught him. The Rebbe said put that sikha on the side. We found it later. It was the same. So the Rebbe quotes it here, but here the Rebbe says, "Boil Paris, go get this atzmos, go get the." And the Rebbe in 67 says, "V'yeshleimah." I'm not taking back what I said now, but I'm going on a higher level. You know, shemizeh nimshach hakech gam lo boil Paris kipshuta. The boil Paris that I said would seem to take care of the problems, and this is the talk of town today. This is the issue: how do we take care of these issues? These problems, that problem. And there's so much troubles going on. So here in Nun Beis, the Rebbe one step different, one step higher, perhaps from Toshon knowledge. Feel that in Toshon knowledge, the Rebbe was saying, "There's the issue. You have to face the issue. If you face the issue, and that's the beginning of the Geula. That the Beis Rebbe says that you have to go by a pari de kedusha. You have to start living with Mashiach. You have to start living in a way of Bli Gvul. Start living with the living Rebbe. Start living with Amayim Didav Agvala. The problem is such a big problem, you're never going to solve it heads on. From taking the pari de kedusha, that is also the way we'll solve with the pari de lomazeh. His klipa is anich baditi esliboy. It's gor stark, and Mele's holy command is only to be mevar, to get rid of him, and that's only Atzvos Muska do it. Only Atzvos Muska take care of the etzem ra of this nekuda, which is the nekuda sagolus, nekuda seyetzara. So Mamela, you have to go to Atzvos Muhos. So Mamela, even the pashta pshat of Boil Pari, which you come out from the Sicha Toshon Anal, which is to fight and to get rid of all the problems, and that's the Biaschal Sagula. Even that, the real way of really getting out is only by the Boil Pari Diktusha, which means start living a hecher life, start tapping into this, the Rebbe's Keiches, which is the Ma'am Didvagval. And another Tzad Shava we see from Shmois and Meir and Boy is that it's all only with the Rebbe's Keiches. Right? Shmois, the Rebbe said, that's the Rebbe, that's the Darga Mashiach, and he helps the Am to live with Mashiach. And the Eira, the Rebbe said, was the Avos that were already in the Bechina of having the Bris even before. So, again, like I said before, the Rebbe didn't say clear this Indian, but it looks like the Rebbe saying that. So the Rebbe is already in Golus, higher than Golus. So by being connected to him, you could be connected to Mashiach. And the Rebbe did say in the end of the era, that's what it means, the Chana to Yitrat, it is Kashus, the Nasi Ader, Bitul Viskashus Nasi, which in Yona Ya'ikri is Lahavi L'Maisa Mashiach. That's what it means. And the same thing in Bayal Paroi is being connected to the Nasi. The Nasi, that the Rebbe, Yitrat, that he is having the same, he's L'Mayla Medidav Agbola, in Medidav Agbola, especially in Der Achi, that the Rebbe is L'Mayla Medidav Agbola, in Medidav Agbola, the Viskashus of the Rebbe, you could have this Indian, which means it's not just a takeaway we take from here. So maybe we have to add and be more ruchni and more nochayechakai. I mean, we have to really be sensitive to sense where the Rebbe is and what's the Rebbe saying, and push it bittul to the Rebbe, bittul to be ready to live in the Rebbe's world and with the Rebbe, and that's the Indian of the Maim doing well.